The laughter echoed off the courtroom walls, cold and sharp. Elena stood alone, clutching a small black USB drive, her only weapon. Marcus, her ex-husband, lounged at the opposing table, his lawyer smirking beside him. They radiated confidence, certain of victory. Elena had no lawyer, no stack of documents, just the drive in her trembling hand. The judge, weary but stern, called for order, but the humiliation lingered. Marcus's voice filled the room, painting Elena as unstable, unfit, delusional. Each word was a stone, meant to bury her. Elena's silence was mistaken for defeat. The gallery saw a broken woman, the case already decided in their eyes. But silence can be a shield, or a weapon. Elena's gaze never left the photo of her son on the table. She drew a deep breath, grounding herself with the sharp edge of the USB. Marcus finished his tirade, certain he'd won. He had no idea the silence he mocked was not empty. It was waiting. Sometimes the quietest person in the room holds the loudest truth, and Elena was ready to let it speak. Elena's voice, soft but steady, broke the silence. "I have only this," she said, holding up the USB. Marcus scoffed, his lawyer sneering. The judge, intrigued, ordered the drive played. Marcus's recorded voice filled the room, venomous, threatening, cruel. "You will walk away with nothing. You will be nothing." The courtroom froze. The smirks vanished. The recording exposed Marcus's true nature, shattering his carefully crafted image. Elena watched the judge's face harden with anger. The gallery, once dismissive, now saw a survivor. Marcus's lawyer scrambled, citing privacy, but the damage was done. The truth had been heard. The judge stared at Marcus, her voice cold. "Do you have an explanation?" Marcus looked trapped, his confidence gone. Elena met his eyes, knowing this was only the beginning. The first crack in Marcus's armor had appeared, and it was deep. The power in the room had shifted. Elena spoke again, her voice unwavering. "That recording is why I stand alone. But it's not my only evidence." Marcus's arrogance flickered back, but he underestimated her. Elena called Albert Finch, Marcus's accountant, to the stand. Panic flashed across Marcus's face. The judge overruled objections. Mr. Finch was sworn in. Elena questioned him about offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands and Switzerland. The accountant, sweating, glanced at Marcus, then confessed, "Yes, I did." He detailed a web of hidden assets, millions concealed from Elena. Each number peeled away another layer of Marcus's deceit. The man who called his wife delusional was exposed as a master manipulator. Elena let the truth speak for itself. The numbers didn't lie, and the most damning number was yet to come. The courtroom listened, stunned, as Marcus's empire began to crumble. Elena stood back, letting the facts do the work. The judge's eyes narrowed, sensing the depth of the betrayal. The truth was only getting started. The courtroom buzzed with shock after the offshore accounts were revealed. Marcus was unraveling, his composure gone. The judge called a recess, tension thick in the air. When proceedings resumed, Elena stood, letting the silence settle. She turned to Mr. Finch. "There's one more account, one for Marcus's son." The judge allowed her to proceed. Mr. Finch, trembling, described a trust fund for Leo, Marcus's son, established for his future. The initial deposit, $250,000. Elena's next question cut through the room. "What is the current balance?" Mr. Finch hesitated, glancing at Marcus, then at the judge. The gallery held its breath. The accountant's eyes filled with tears. He struggled to speak, the weight of the truth nearly crushing him. The answer would be more damning than any hidden millions. The entire courtroom waited, knowing this was about more than money. This was about trust and betrayal. Elena's silence had led them here. The truth was about to land its final blow. The silence was suffocating. Mr. Finch finally spoke. The balance is $117. Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Marcus slumped, his world collapsing. The offshore accounts were about greed. This was about cruelty. A father had stolen from his own child's future. There was no defense, no spin. Elena stood strong, having carried this truth alone for months. Marcus's lawyer looked at him with disgust. The case was no longer about divorce. It was about character. The judge's fury was palpable. "Mr. Thorne, is this true? Did you liquidate your son's trust?" Marcus exploded, blaming Elena, claiming entitlement. His confession sealed his fate. The court saw him for what he was, a man who believed he was entitled to everything. As bailiffs restrained Marcus, the judge turned to Elena with a new question. Why had she waited so long to reveal this? The answer would reveal the true motive behind her silence. The judge, calm but firm, addressed Elena. "Why wait until now to reveal all this?" Elena gathered herself, her voice steady. "Your Honor, you heard the man on that recording. If I'd revealed my hand too early, he would have hidden the money, destroyed evidence, and made our lives hell. I had to wait for a moment when he couldn't escape. My silence was not weakness, it was protection. I needed the law's shield, a public forum where he couldn't manipulate his way out. I endured humiliation and condescension, holding the keys to his destruction. It wasn't about revenge, it was about survival. I protected my son the only way I could." The judge's eyes softened, respect shining through. Elena's strategy was revealed as courage, not passivity. The court finally understood the depth of her strength. Elena's silence had been her greatest weapon. The judge's gavel fell, echoing through the stunned courtroom. Marcus stood between bailiffs, broken and defeated. The judge addressed Elena, her voice warm and resolute. "In the matter of Thorne versus Thorne, this court has heard a story of deceit and moral failing. Full custody of Leo Thorne is awarded to his mother, Elena. All of Marcus's assets are frozen, pending investigation. The child's trust will be replenished. Punitive damages will be paid." Each word dismantled Marcus's life. The judge looked at Elena. "You brought the most powerful weapon, truth. Sometimes truth doesn't need to be shouted. It waits for the right moment. You've shown the difference between patience and weakness." As Marcus was led away, Elena stood tall, her dignity intact. She had let the truth speak for itself. The judge's final words echoed. "Never mistake silence for absence, patience for weakness, or stillness for surrender. In the quietest moments, the most important truths are revealed." Elena's fight was over, but her lesson would linger. Justice had finally found its voice in her silence.
What's something people don't know about stories? They never truly end. There's always a new adventure waiting for you. Just pick your next tale and I'll meet you there. Subscribe to the Story Circle and let me know which story I should tell next in the comments.